What's going on, everyone? My name is UnderTheRadar, and welcome back to the long-awaited Draft League Viability on Ribombee. Now, Ribombee is a very unique Pokemon. Ribombee does so much and does so little at the exact same time. If you don't know what I mean, so Ribombee is, in my opinion, considered to be one of the best sticky web setters in the game because of its speed. Its speed means that walls cannot taunt it easily, if at all. Its speed means that it is unable to be defogged on quickly if it can kill something, and its respectable base 95 attack stat means that it's actually pretty strong, being able to break through most bulky typings. The only thing that it can't really break through is bulky steels. Everything else doesn't really appreciate the combination of Moonblast plus Bug Buzz. So this Pokemon, I've used it multiple times. I've loved it multiple times, and it is something that I would suggest everybody drafting at least once. I'm praying to God that this Pokemon is in Sun and Moon. If this Pokemon is in Sun and Moon, I will enjoy the meta no matter what, but I have a strong feeling it's not. So how do you build around this thing? Well, I'm going to start out by saying that I don't think that Quiver Dance Ribombee is good. I don't think that just regular Sticky Web Lead Ribombee is good. I think that the best form of Ribombee is Choice Specs, the wall breaking and easily able to clean set. Sorry if you see me like itching my shoulder. I got a really bad sunburn. It blistered up. I took care of it. It was all healed up, and now, like, I'm sure you guys can't really see it, but the skin is peeling so bad. Yeah, you can kind of sort of see it, but it's peeling so bad, and it itches. Anyway, so Quiver Dance is okay. I guess it's not bad. With Z moves, it's really good. Anyway, so the way that I like to build around this is I like to build around another thing that is easily walled by bulky psychic types to, again, have that sort of spam core. In my winning NPA season, I had this with Mega Heracross, and it was phenomenal. This Pokemon can break down most types. It cannot break down bulky fairies that well. It also cannot break down bulky steels that well. So I really like it with Mega Heracross. I always suggest Mega Heracross for Ribombee because this thing baits in the bulky steel types. You U-turn out on it, get in Heracross, break through something, sub up, click like close combat, click pin missile, click something to do a lot of damage to something, or bulk up, or click Swords Dance and then break through everything, and then this cleans up. So really good offensive core here, with having that spam, that type spamming aspect that I mentioned multiple times in previous videos. So Mega Heracross, super good. I like it a lot. Next, you need something to reliably bait in and break down bulky fairies. This is kind of difficult to do because Mega Heracross does that already. It baits them in, and if they don't have reliable recovery, like if their bulky fairy is a Mega Gardevoir, obviously your Mega Heracross is going to beat it as long as like they switch in on it. But most fairies have reliable recovery in the likelihood of Wish or Recover or Synthesis in Florges' case. So it's really hard to beat them without having a reliable check to them. So a really good Pokemon that baits in bulky fairies and breaks them down pretty easily is actually hard to come across because typically things that bait in fairies don't beat fairies. That's why fairies are so good. There isn't much that is like, okay, I want my bulky fairy to be my bulky switch in. Typically, like with things like, say, like dark types, for example, we'll use Greninja. Greninja as an example. Typically, your switch into a Greninja is going to be your bulky water type, not your bulky fairy, because people know that Z Gunk Shot is a thing. So it's really difficult to find something that does that. Something that you could do is find something that your bulky fairy would be your switch into, and then use it as setup fodder. something that goes with these two that I really like for offensive coverage to help break down fairies is actually Weavile. I say Weavile because these two are going to pressure bulky waters. Not the best, because you'll still need like a really good electric type, like a Heliolisk or something like that, but typically people's best switch into this are either going to be bulky waters, which they can't really switch into this anyway, or they're physically defensive Sylveons, they're physically defensive Florges, they're physically defensive something. And if they're bringing that in, you can know what they're going for, and this Pokemon does get Poison Jab. This is one of the few Pokemon that I think baits in a plethora of different fairy types and beats them down in combination with its speed, its coverage, and its access to Z moves. So I think Weavile works out really well. With low kick, you help break down bulky steals for Ribombee to sweep. Bulky psychic types will never come versus you, literally ever. There's no reason for a bulky psychic type to come against two bug types and a dark type, literally ever. So you don't have to worry about breaking those. You mainly need to worry about breaking bulky fairies, and the spammable coverage of this will mean that they will never be able to switch in for free if you build properly around it. I would still suggest getting a really good steel type. I would still suggest getting a pretty good poison type, like a grounded poison type if you could. And I would still suggest getting your very typical Dragon Fairy Steel, Fire, Water, Grass, things like that to help break down your other typings. But in order to make Ribombee a really good win con, every single week, you need something to bait in fairies and hit them hard. And these two Pokemon do just that together. And you have really good speed tiers. You have two lightning fast Pokemon. Well, not lightning fast. Zeraora is lightning fast. Really fast is the term that I'm going to use for him. So I really like these three together. Switching in, you're really weak to fairy types, and that is where I think the steel type really comes into play that you need is to switch in to fairy types. So if this thing, let's say you're banded with Icicle Crash, right? Fire off an Icicle Crash. Physically defensive Sylveon comes in, and somehow it takes 2 after Stealth Rocks. You need something to be able to switch in on that reliably. So a good steel type that can switch in on this. Let's look, and I'll show you guys kind of sort of the process that I have whenever I look at this. You want a steel type that has somewhat reliable recovery or has a way of being decent to help other things. So Jirachi would be really good in my opinion. However, you do already have typically a tier 1, so Jirachi might not make it. Bronzong wouldn't be bad, but it doesn't have reliable recovery. Probopass could be interesting because you can trap things. Same with Magnezone. Probopass breaks down, steals a little bit easier in my opinion. I would personally here go with Jirachi if it makes it to you. If it doesn't, then that's understandable, but having like Jirachi, Weavile, Ribombee as your first 3 picks I think is really good. So like in pick order, I would go this. I would go these 4 in this order. That's just my personal preference. So now you have the switch in. You also have a switch in to poison types. You also have a good Wish Passer. You have a reliable Stealth Rocker. You have another Pivoting Mon. You have a lot with these 4 Pokemon right here. Now you need some really good. You need some really good pivots. You need things that can tank a hit, U-turn out, recover up if they need to. And a really good one that I think helps with a lot here is Tangrowth. You are extremely weak to fire. You're extremely weak to fire. So maybe Tangrowth isn't the best. So you need a really good water type, a really good bulky water type. A really good water type. Vaporeon wouldn't be bad because you have a Scald immunity. I like it. Go with Vaporeon. You are extremely weak to fire, and now that I'm looking at it, it kind of sort of sucks. So you would want something else, like you would want a Flash Fire Mon. I guess over Jirachi you could go Heatran. I think that would be a little bit smarter. It gives you a rocker, but it doesn't give you the pivoter. And then with Wish Pass with Vaporeon, I think that works out better. Yes, I like that a little bit more. And you have good switch-ins to fighting in Heracross and Ribombee. not the best because of Stone Edge, but and then you can get another good pivot here with a psychic type, with a bulky psychic. Let's see. I guess you could go something like a Xatu to prevent hazards. Celebi wouldn't be bad because you have good switch-ins to Bug. And it would give you another rocker. Give you a psychic type as well. Let's keep Celebi in the back of the brain. Of course, these three are never bad for psychics. Well, these two. This one. I think Mesprit's the best, honestly. Musharna's pretty cool. It gives you Trick Room aspect for Heracross. Gives you Baton Pass as well. So I would go either here for low tier. I would go Xatu, Musharna, or Mesprit. Personally, over everything though, I would pick up Musharna. Its bulk is phenomenal. If I'm not mistaken, it's fatter than Reuniclus, and I think it's just a little bit weaker. Has really good coverage. Has access to Synchronize, so people can't just spam Toxic versus you without toxicking themselves. And it gives you Baton Pass, really slow Baton Pass at that, so you can Trick Room and then go into Heracross and sweep. This also doesn't really add any major weaknesses to the team. So I really like these six. I think these six actually work out really well. I really want to try this now. U-turn, Baton Pass into Breaker, Cleaner, mid-tier Breaker, really good stealth rocker. I would suggest you also have a fire, a water, you have a fairy and a steel, so you just need a grass and a dragon. So you could get anything with this. You could get like, you could get a Flygon, that'd be really good. It would give you a ground immunity, it would give you a dragon type and another pivoter. For your grass type, you could go Tangrowth again, since now you got rid of Jirachi and you have the Flash Fire. Yeah, I really like this. This gives a lot of opportunities for tier things. So this is typically a tier 3. This is typically a tier 1. This is typically a tier 1. This is typically a tier 2 mega, give or take. At least I think that's where it belongs. This is typically a tier 3. This is typically either a tier 4 or a tier 5. So you have really good tier variety. You're able to get another tier 2. You don't have a tier 2 at all yet because this is a tier 2 mega. So yeah, I think that this really works out well with everything that you could build around it, and I think it really gives a lot of opportunities to have things. Neither one of these Pokemon are set up father either because of their really high special attack stats. You have phasing, you have webs, rocks, Spiker wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I think that this team has a lot to offer, and I think that this is how I would personally build a Brown Ribombee if I ever drafted it again. Unfortunately, I don't think I would get the chance unless I do a Showdown League, and I will probably never do a Showdown League. So but that is how I would build around Ribombee, guys. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like down below for me. Also, make sure you check out all of the links in the description, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.